So here's a question for you. Will a trip to Savannah help the girls move forward or will it take them backwards?
And I'm like, come on through, Cook. Yeah. I want to put my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What,
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Married to Medicine. This is season 7, episode 6. Like I said, the girls are packing up, heading out to Savannah, Georgia. And is this trip going to help them to move forward in their friendships, or is it going to have them move backwards or stay the same, or what's going to go on? Let's talk about it. First thing, Damon and Dr. Damon and Heavenly. You knew eventually it was going to come up. The information got back to Damon. He cornered her up in the room and get to telling her, you ain't tell me that there was a whole strip tease going on and dinglings hanging out and carrying on and touching and you ain't tell me about all that, buddy. That buddy shit. And that Heavenly, I said, girl, stop. She got to talk about she thought it was just out of order and this, that, thing, and the other. And he told her, you should have left. You could have left. And all of that. So I thought it was disrespectful, but it wasn't my party, Daddy. I didn't have nothing to do. I was like a whole mess. Whole mess. She just deflected and just worked her way on around it. I said, good for you, Doctor. Heavenly messy ass. Here she had the most interaction with the boys of anybody. I said, just a damn mess. Then had the nerve to tell him they was just little boys. They was all their little dinglings was small. I said, were they? Were they? Stop it, Heavenly. Anyway, a mess. Anyway, so after that, we see it's basically the next day. Everybody meets up at Jackie. Jackie just lied, telling her, I done cooked. I cooked. There was food cooked, but I'm sure Jackie wasn't the one that cooked it. But there was breakfast and everything. It was nice. Like they all had breakfast out of Jackie's house, and they loaded up onto the bus, and they're going to be heading to Savannah. It's like a four and a half hour drive. And the men were joking about telling them, we're going to have a sip and paint while you all are gone. And they was like, oh, no, y'all are not. I'm like, a mess. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. But anyway, so they go ahead on this here bus ride. And that's a long time for them because, their friendships, it's gotten to be to where their friendships are pretty fragile at this point, a lot of them. And it was a lot of time sitting on a bus looking across at each other. And sure enough, Toya starts talking about, how she has the new house and all of that. That's 9,000 square feet and this, that, and the other. And real happy. And everybody was really happy for her except for the dentist. I don't know what the problem is, but Heavenly, girl, it was awful. You came across as the worst kind of hater. Like you were a hater unprovoked. There was no reason, there was no purpose for the route that you were going with. Why? I mean, I don't even know. That conversation just went left, and it was, like, well, girl, everybody got a house. Hater. Pure hater. That is like pure hater. I wouldn't give a shit how many houses you have. It is always a time to celebrate and congratulate when someone purchases a home. Whether it be a fixer-upper, a mansion, a 2 bedroom, whatever. It's a major investment. And if you are friends, it's always time to celebrate and uplift somebody making a purchase that's that large. That's like a life changer. It's a life changing situation. What is you giving? It was just a mess. I was like, girl, you are giving hater. Then the conversation went into I make 3 times more than you do. Who cares? Who cares? It just looked very bad. It looked very tacky, and I was like, heavenly, so heavenly. So you're not going to get but so much of that type of stuff past Toya. And she said, my house is almost paid off. She gonna say, well, I mean, it ain't worth but about 50 grand. So like, what are you bragging about? I said, oh, child. And then the bus got quiet. Maybe it was like, I said, oh. I said, well, she did get you, girl. You might have wanted to leave that alone. Anyway, and it shut her down. It shut her down. I was like, but why even have to go through all that anyway? So they go on there, arrive in Savannah. Oh, and yeah, Buffy's going. Buffy's there. And, Tori was giving, oh, hi, Buffy, So that whole thing is going, but nothing really came of it too much yet with Buffy. So they get to the house, and the first thing they start talking about, that Savannah's known for hauntings. And there's like haunted houses that are supposedly haunted that are in Savannah. So, they were kind of touching on that, and they were talking about a lamp falling over and different things like that. And then Jackie pairs the girls up, and they're going to literally be sharing rooms and actually sharing the beds and everything. So it's really a girls' slumber party. They're all women. I didn't see any problem with it. And they all are. They're friends. They are friends, even though they clang and they clash rather, and they have it at times. But they are like, at some point, all of them have had that sister thing going on. So none of that I thought was any type of a problem. And it gives you a chance to put that down for a minute and just chill and just have some fun, Anyway, so their first night out, they were all dressed in white. And I have to say, everybody looked nice. Everybody looked nice. I just was looking at Toya and Heavenly, more so Heavenly, because everybody was, they were like really done. It was very Southern lady, not debutante, but Southern grown woman. And they all had their white shoes, and Heavenly got on black shoes. I was like, because I don't understand why you have on all white and then you felt the need to put on black shoes. Then there was one shot where the shoes looked kind of blue. It didn't matter. They should have been white like everybody else's. But Toya had on black shoes as well. But Toya's dress had a black stripe down the set, so she was still matching. Even though, black shoes match with the white dress, but it just was kind of like the odd man out. It was so, when you seen them sitting on the bus, it was like this sea of white on all these brown girls, and it just looked so nice. And then you look down and you see these 2 pairs of black shoes. I was like, anyway, people say we're wearing white. Put on white shoes, white dress, and let's go. Anyway, whatever. But that's Heavenly. Always oddball. They had like a nice little piece of a conversation when they first got to dinner, and they were talking about, contestant was talking about her and Scott and some of their little disconnect. And he had messaged her, and it was something about a party. He was out of town for a friend, and he telling her, I'm done went to the party. She kind of was feeling a kind of way, and it was like, girl, stop it. And they basically told her it was Jackie and Toya, which it was so funny because with where her and Toya had been, and where they are now, that Toya was able to actually offer some advice and be really honest and open about something that was touchy, and she didn't take it the wrong way. I was like, progress, really good, really, really good. They seem to be getting, back to how, not totally how they used to be, but they're on their way. But basically, it was being pointed out, contestant, really, what you're doing right now, we're not going to coddle you and tell you that you're not being passive aggressive. You're being passive aggressive, because she was telling them how she canceled herself out of the program. And that's what Toya was like, I can't believe it. She did that. Like, well, how did she just finish? Like, she had already paid for the program and then she canceled it out. And she's like, girl, she said, me and Eugene don't make those type of decisions. She said, I don't understand why you couldn't just go to school in Atlanta, but then, it is what it is. But right now, you're being a little passive aggressive and you basically are holding resentment. And Jackie was like, yeah, girl, you're resentful and you can see it and it's coming out. And she did not fight with them. She received what they were saying. I was like, good for you, contestant, because you are. You give a Scott a way to go for his money. But you get it together, girl. Anyway, so then they decided no, Jackie decided they were going to do, how Jackie always got her rituals. They had a little candle thing. It was real, real cute, where they lit each other's candles and then blew the candles out together. They had a little prayer, but that was after they did, they came up with their girlfriend code. They were coming up with the girlfriend codes, and each person was going to do one, and they were, discuss it and agree upon it. And that's it. And this is how we're going to conduct ourselves going forward to stop having some of these problems that we've been having. So here's a couple of them. Mariah, I knew it was going to be some problems with Mariah because Mariah has, and I kind of, and a little bit I understand because I have a thing about holding grudges. Child, I works on it, but I do have a thing about holding grudges. But goddamn, Mariah, like she just don't let nothing go. Like even I don't do like if you say you forgave something, then you forgave it. You don't just keep going back on because what's the point? If you keep going back on it, what is the point? And she doesn't. Every time she gets a chance, she go and lay in the mud. It's like, girl, like either you like the trough, honey, or you don't. So she just like feels like the whole thing is a waste of time, basically. And like, girl, well, look, whatever, we're doing it anyway. So they get to doing their little thing. So Jackie was saying, one, don't lie. Don't lie about whatever it is. Don't lie on people. Fact check. And that's, that's when Mariah threw that in there. Fact check, because if you don't, you don't know. And then, of course, she had to go and dive into the trough, honey. You didn't fact check about when it was said that I did drugs, this, that thing, and the other. I was like, oh, are we ready to do this again? Are we getting ready to do this again? Didn't you and Jackie squash this? Why are you going there? Anyway, so they kind of moved through it. I'm like, she just backpedaling. She just wanted to get back into the anger of it. It's like, child, we're moving on. Anybody, Jackie wouldn't even give her no play. So Quad had said about respecting your girlfriend's privacy, and they were like, yeah, okay, girl, no problem. And then Toya was like, so girl, what's going on with the divorce? Is your divorce finally? Yeah. She's like, so now you want to get into my business. And then Quad just kind of laughed it off. And she was like, we're actually in a good place. Things had gotten real nasty, but we're almost to the end of it. And she was like, good, good, good. And they moved right on past it. Buffy. That Buffy is really, Buffy is Buffy's biggest fan. Like already. I don't, again, y'all know I don't follow like social media of the reality stars because I just try to keep my thing laser focused to what's on the show and not what's going on in real time. And honey, Miss Buffy, I said I could just imagine what her social media looks like because she is truly her biggest fan. I'm like, girl, stop. She started talking about accept me as I am. And she was talking about, how she has just discarded friendships with women because, like people are always jealous of her because, it's really hard being successful. And, it's hard to have it going on. And they were all just kind of looking at her like, well, all right. And Toya was over there getting her life. Toya's confessional. Toya was tearing the confessional room up. She was like, that might be why you don't have any girlfriends, honey. Because you think that they're all beneath you. Probably why you don't have any. I was like, Toya, she was having a ball letting Buffy have it in her confessional. But I was like, and then she had nerve to start crying, and I was like, what's wrong with her? She's interesting. She's interesting, but she's definitely her own biggest fan. Simone said, less husband and children are off limits. Don't disrespect the husband. Don't disrespect the families. Um, and they were kind of, Heavenly was kind of on one, where she's already hating when they was on the way there. And they just, like, kind of, again, Simone wouldn't give her no play. Because it could have went left. They could have got to arguing again, but they didn't. She brought it up and said, I just, that. She Simone wouldn't give her no play. Like, I'm here to have a good time. I ain't even messing with you with that. But that was just a couple of them, and they got it all together. Like I said, then they did the little candle lighting thing, which I thought was really really cool. And then they were like, okay, well let's go on because we've had a long day getting here and everything. Let's go on back and get some sleep, and then move on. Maybe they get back on the bus. Well, before they get on the bus, Mariah's sitting there, and Jackie says to her, are you okay? She come over and leaned down. Are you okay? She said, no. And she's like, I can see in your face. And yeah, her face was all, that face she made. Face was all twisted up, I said. And then I believe she was tired, from the bus ride and getting packed and just the angst of getting up there and everything, getting there, getting dressed, and they didn't have dinner. She didn't ate, she didn't got the itis. I believe her ass was drunk. Okay. I believe she was drunk. And I don't know. Y'all tell me in the comments how y'all I feel like Mariah was drunk. Her behavior gave me old drunk. She seemed a little drunk to me. I don't know about anybody else, but she seemed a little drunk. She was all in her feelings, okay? And yeah, she seemed a little drunk. Anyway, so her and Jackie get up, they're going out. Quad and Toya still sit at the table. Quad wants to talk to Toya. Quad is Quad. She being Quad. And see, this is the thing with Quad that I've noticed. Quad has gotten a handle on what's going on with her and Mariah. At this point, it feels like she has the upper hand on the situation because she ain't crying no more. Because Quad will get the crying on you in a minute, child. She ain't crying no more. Quad is laser focused and getting Gregory together and not playing with Mariah at all. Those two, Gregory and Mariah, are not being able to pull no tears out of Quad's face. You understand me? Her whole thing, soon as either one of them, their names come up, she's like, game face on. I'm like, okay, girlfriend, this is this is good. Well, for all intents and purposes, this is good because I don't watch you cry and cry and cry, and these people giving you the blues. So, hey, whatever it took to get there, listen, she ain't for the fuck. She what's next? And Toya was trying to talk her down, and I'm looking at Toya and I'm saying, okay, all right, Toya. Because usually Toya's the messy bitch of the whole situation, but she playing a different role. But she ain't getting nowhere with her friend Quad, honey. She's telling her, she says, Quad, she's hurt. And Quad's like, okay, but it's the truth. See, I saw what I saw with my own eyes. Ain't nothing about what nobody told me. It's what I walked in on and I saw. Period. Then they show some footage where Toya has gone with Mariah to actually have her hair tested. She got the test where you get a plug of your hair cut out in the middle from the front and from the back, and they test it and they say that they could pull if there was any drug use for 10 years, whatever. And Toya, in her confessionals, she said, I don't believe nothing that Quad is saying. She said, I don't believe nothing Quad's saying. I don't believe half of what Mariah's saying when they talk about each other. I believe they were out to get each other, and they'll say whatever they need to say. Um, Listen, I don't know about all that. I know too well about friendship, where it's close friends, and when the shit gets to start being spilled, it gets spilled, honey. And that's all there's to it. And you can take it and do what you want with it. And listen, I'm taking it for what it is. I ain't sitting up talking about nobody lying because I don't know. And the whole drug thing, listen, Mariah's behavior is a little strange at times. Her behavior is a little strange at times. And I've been watching this for a long time. 7 years I've been watching this. And whatever. It didn't seem like anything that was so way off, but I don't know her personally. I really don't. But just the same, it is horrible. It's a horrible thing to have out there about you, just like having out there that you were screwing my brother-in-law is a horrible thing to have out there about you. So it is what it is, child. But Toya said she don't believe neither one of them. So I was like, okay, um, I would make them both pretty petty, wouldn't it? Whatever. So anyway, um, I held on to that. I didn't put that in my memory bank, Toya's confessionals, because I think that confessional gonna cause you a little bit of problems when we get down round to reunion time. You know who we dealing with, honey, both of them. So I think that little confessional is gonna cost you. But anyway, so that was that. They go and they get in the bus and they're on their way back to the house. And then I was when I got very, very irritated because I said, "Oh, we're back to last season already. Here we go. It's time for Mariah to create a moment." I said, "Drunken ass. Here we go." She got on that bus and then she started, honey. And she gets to talking and throwing these damn subliminals. And this, that, and the other, and then y'all know, all of y'all, this, that, and the other, and people said about me, and didn't nobody fact check it, and I just felt like all of y'all wanted to believe it, and this, that, and the other. And I'm listening, I'm saying, are they listening to her? Because it did. I really wish that Quad would have just shut up and didn't say nothing. But Quad wasn't for it. She went right on and addressed her directly. It was like, girl, damn all that subliminal shit you throwing. You talking about me, bitch. And they start going back forth. And I was like, oh, I wish Quad would have just shut up and let her keep going. Because if she would have just let her keep going, she was going to offend everybody on the bus. She was going to offend everybody on the bus, and then it would have worked even better because then everybody really would have been against her because she was getting ready to let all of them have it. She was giving very much of nobody loves me, nobody likes me, I'm being victimized by everybody, honey. But when Quad spoke up, then it was able to be because then Quad addressed her. They're going back and forth, and Quad told her to her face, listen, I don't give a shit what you say. I walked in and I seen what I seen. So whatever is a lie, then whatever is a lie, then whatever. Face dry as a bone, honey. She ain't ready to fuck up this makeup. Not at all. And honey, that Mariah was over there and again looked very drunk to me. Then Heavenly chimed in and was like, and I believe her. I believe her, bitch, because you're known to lie. I don't lie. I don't lie. I don't lie. And Heavenly said, you lie. You lied on my husband. I didn't lie on your husband. You did lie. Well, I apologized about what I had said. It was what was being said. She said, yeah, but you said you had receipts. Bitch, you lied. I was like, oh. Honey, and Mariah, that backed her up. She said, oh. And then she started going on and on about the quad and the Jackie. And then by this time, Contessa then got irritated. Contessa's like, oh, I'm about sick of this shit. This is ridiculous. Like, to keep dragging this shit up. We literally, and that's Jackie's like, we literally just left the restaurant. Are you all kidding? And honey, it had got real. Then Toya going to tell Heavenly to back off, that Mariah wasn't talking to her, and that Mariah, she created turmoil, which is her game. It's what she does. It's what she does. And it got ugly with Heavenly and Toya. To the point, because of course, Heavenly, I'm like, damn, Heavenly, but Heavenly had a hard on for Toya anyway. Toya already wanted to get her from earlier too. So I don't think she thought Heavenly was going to go that far with her. And Heavenly told her your mama and all that old shit, and Toya was like, I wish you would be able to say my mama to my mama, because my mama would drag you and beat the shit out of you, Heavenly. I said, oh, Lord. So that was a whole mess. And they went through all that. Then they get to the house. They outside, they arguing. They steady arguing. And Jackie can't find the damn keys. So they out down there in Savannah, Georgia. But they black asses. Out there making all that record. I said, y'all going to jail, child. And that's what Buffy said. Please find the keys and let us get into the house before we all be down here around to the jailhouse. I said, I know that's right, Buffy. But they finally get inside the house, and everybody that went to their little rooms, and a mess. And Mariah has this whole episode because she done went in there and called her best girlfriend, honey, Aiden. And he's yelling and screaming on the phone. And Toya goes in there and she's trying to console her. And she's trying to stop Aiden because he's going off on the phone. He's going off. I said, child, every time, honey, why do you have to go and call your best girlfriend and get her all geared up, honey? And because Aiden asked, she said, I brought it up, because these women, they hate me. They all hate me, this, that, that. Well, why are you there? If you feel like all of them hate you, why did you ever get on the bus? Like, I don't understand. Why keep putting yourself in that position? If you truly feel that every one of them hates you, why bother? Because you don't need the money. So why bother? Because you like the spotlight. And this was just your time to have one of your moments. And I ain't really thinking about Mariah. I think Mariah's full of shit. But she was crying and tearing her face up and carrying on. And then her and Toya had to get up and go for a walk. And child, Toya's out there being real mature with her and praying and carrying on. And y'all gave her what she wanted. She wanted a moment. Y'all gave it to her. And Contessa's ass was frustrated as hell. Though. I was cracking up. I was like, poor Contessa. She's gonna fuck this shit. This old shit. Y'all keep bringing up. She said something very good. She said, listen, I get frustrated. It's not that I don't care. I get frustrated because I feel personally, when it comes to Mariah and Quad, that it is just off limits. Just don't touch it. Let them just don't touch it. She said, I feel like you'll get burned, and you will. And you will. Let them have at it, honey. Let them. They got a twisted. It's like a twisted glazed pretzel. And baby, there's no fingerprints to be on it other than Quad's and Mariah's. I wouldn't touch that shit for nothing in the world. Just let them go, honey. They'll be fine. One thing I felt bad for Mariah, baby, that Savannah, Georgia heat wasn't being very nice to her hair at all. That by the time that evening, her hair was a whole mess. Like it literally, it must be. I can't because I see she runs into that a lot. She must buy like hair that is like a wavy hair and then flat iron it straight because most of the time, by the time they're done filming whatever they're filming, her hair is like a rat's nest. And baby, that Savannah heat had her giving. I said, "Oh, girl, no, no, ma'am, Miss Mariah, no, ma'am." Jackie made a good point too when Jackie said, "This is crazy. Like we just left that restaurant, and this is like we are." She said, "I just feel like we are here, and we are a group of friends divided, and that's exactly what you all are. And it ain't just in twos; it's in like maybe threes. Y'all are divided." So we're gonna see what the rest of this trip is going to be like. See if the division can be, meshed together or something. But they literally are. They literally are divided, just like Jackie said. I was like, ugh, a mess. But I think everybody will be fine. But that day Mariah just drunk and messy and just wanted to have a moment. Y'all gave it to her today. Y'all really gave it to her. She had lots of good camera time. I said, "Oh, go ahead. You really did it up tonight, didn't you?" Says, "Shoot Lucy's daughter strikes again, honey."